Hello, my friends. Most of you have probably seen the video where I created this autumn leaf for the Colorarte fall event collaboration, and I used a stencil. I made a stencil, and some of you were interested in seeing how that stencil was made, so I'm going to show you today. I cut the stencil, and then I used the cutout part to apply, and then I spray painted around it and then add a detail. And I haven't varnished it yet because I'm still working on it a bit. I improved the shadow for the stem there, and now I'm adding little tiny bug bites and little messing up the edges ever so slightly to make it a little more realistic, using some paint. For example, you know, might go here and just kind of crinkle up the edge a little bit. Just helps with the realism that way, and a little bug bite. So anyway, I'm still tinkering with it. That's why it's not yet varnished. But the purpose of this video is to show you how to easily make your own stencil. First of all, you're going to need a tool. I bought one by Walnut Hollow, and it's got a lot of different tips. It does all sorts of things: wood burning, cutting. I haven't even tried any of the other tips, but it does a lot of stuff. And I've lost the instructions, so I'm going to have to go online to find out how to use it more. But for stenciling, you'll want to use the pointy tip, stencil cutting. And let me just show you a little tip here. You're going to want to, all these tools will come with a stand of some kind, of little metal stand. Tape it down to your surface, because otherwise it can easily fly off the stand. It would tip and you could get hurt, and it's very, very hot. So that's a tip. First thing you're going to want is a hard surface. I bought this nice little drawing board at Five Below for $5, and I found it's very helpful. Then you want to find an image that you want to make a stencil out of. I just went on Pixabay and looked up butterfly silhouette. I don't use a lot of stencils, so I don't use them at all. In fact, this was the first time I've used one for the leaf, but it was fun, and I'm not going to say I'll never use it again. But I wanted to find a simple shape, and so I just looked up butterfly silhouette, came up with this one, printed it out. Then you need a piece of glass to place over that. Then you need something to cut your stencil out of. I'm just using notebook page divider. You know, it's nice and pliable and thin, easy to cut through or stencil through. I'm going to just put it here because I can maybe use that for a smaller one if I decide to go again. So here we go. We're going to use this hot tool. It's got a nice little rubber section on the handle for you to use. And here's the dial. It has 4 heat settings. As I recall, for this point and this type of thing, I think the 3rd level of heat was where it needed to be, but I can't swear to that. All right. So it's always easier to pull towards you, although anywhere can be done. And you want to go as long as you can in one stroke. So let's start. And also it's easier to start not at a point, but on like a straight line. So this is kind of a straight area here. So here we go. I'm going to pull towards me. I'm going to stop, take my breath, short of this little part here, and now I'll continue. And I am pushing away from me, not towards me, but you know, with a little practice, it's not difficult. Stop. Go around that point. Now I'm Whoops, I'm off track. Oh well, my butterfly will have an extra bump there. Oh, you know what I should have done? If I wanted to do this little cutout, I should have probably done that first while, let me go over here. Or I haven't cut around it too much yet. Let's see how easily that cuts through. Let's go ahead and try this. Kind of holding my breath. Oops, I got a little artistic bump there. Is that where I started? No, I started here. Okay, setting it back in the little holder. And if you're done, then go ahead and turn it off. You don't want to forget. It takes, I think, about 5 minutes to heat up, and then I don't know how long it takes to cool down, but don't touch it. And now you simply lift it up. This is when you'll find out if you missed any spots. Voila. So now I've got my negative space stencil there. Now, there are a few ways to use a stencil. I'm going to pull these out. You'd have to, if this is the image you want, you'd have to pull out these little negative things. I wouldn't bother with this. If I were using the stencil this way, I would just paint those in. So you can either use it this way and either spray paint or sponge paint your image. Then you would be protecting the outside. Or you can do what I did with the leaf and use this part. And then you would spray paint or sponge around, and this part would become your painted area. So a number of ways to use a stencil. But you can see how easy that was. It just goes through like butter. So as I said, this was Walnut Hollow. I got it at Michael's. They're not inexpensive, but I used a coupon and it wasn't bad. And because it does so many other things, wood burning and hot cutting, you know, cut through leather and fabric and all sorts of things with it. I think it's a handy tool to have in your arsenal. So there we go. How to cut a stencil. You can get as complicated as you want, as simple as you want, but it's a pretty easy process. Thank you for joining me, my friends, and I'll see you next time.